When you say sentence, the sentence ends with a full stop. So till the full stop, it is one sentence. It may seem like a big sentence, but it may be one sentence. The focus of a creative lead is, of course, to inform about the most important things. An anecdote is a particular situation that has happened and we are just taking reference to that situation. And if you yourself don't have confidence in that particular lead, then you can rather switch to another type of lead. Hello everyone and welcome to a new session of your journalistic paper, that is reporting from third semester. I am Zubin Paul, your journalism faculty from Vidhyaashram first grade college, the temple of excellence. Now, today we are going to study about the next part of our syllabus, that is types of leads. In the previous session, we had learnt about leads and what they are, what we need to avoid and how to write a good lead. But in today's session, we are going to learn the types of leads. What are the types of leads is based purely on what approach we take to write a particular lead. Now, till now we know that we have to include the 5 W's, 1 H, etc. to make a good lead. But let us see the different types of leads to give you a bit more perspective on how to write a good lead. First one, summary lead. Let's get to know what it is. A summary lead, as the name says, is the most common and traditional lead in journalism. It is meant to give a quick summary in as few words as possible and is usually one sentence. One sentence. When you say sentence, the sentence ends with a full stop. So till the full stop, it is one sentence. It may seem like a big sentence, but it may be one sentence. It contains most of the 5 W's and 1 H. Very simple. What we have understood about leads is basically the summary lead. Till now, whatever we have understood as a lead is the summary lead. For example, this is about a US-based situation. Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan told Congress yesterday that US economic growth appeared to be slowing, heading off for the moment any need to raise interest rates. Wall Street responded with a cheer, sending stocks and bonds soaring. So there are pretty much a lot of information in this one lead itself. If you read this, you will get to know what is happening, and that will be done. Further information can be given where? In the body and in the tail. So here again we have who? Federal Reserve Chairman. Who? We got the who. Then told Congress yesterday that US economic growth. What did he say? Who, what? Yeah. Appeared to be slowing down. What did he say? This is the what. Heading off for the moment any need to raise interest rates. Wall Street responded with a cheer, sending stocks and bonds soaring. Wall Street is a very, very important of the US economy. So that is why it has been mentioned in the lead itself. So this is called as a summary lead. Whatever we write, basically including the 5 W's and 1 H, will be the summary lead. The second one, a single item lead. Now, one small disclaimer is that all of these leads that we are going to be discussing will be quite simple in terms of getting to know what they are right from the name. So let us just understand it in a very simple manner. This lead focuses on just 1 or 2 elements of a summary lead. The summary lead may have majority 5 W's and 1 H, but this will just focus on 1 or 2 elements of those 5 W's and 1 H. The purpose is to pack a bigger punch than a summary lead. Bigger punch. Now, for example, if there is a lead that has or that requires the who to be most important. Who, what, when, where, may. The who, if it is most important, if it is giving the most punch, that becomes very important. For example, Team India triumph against England. Done. So what is important here? The who. Team India. What? Triumph against England. This, as soon as you see this, it is more than enough an excuse slash a motivation for you to read the rest of the article. So that is what is meant by Team India triumph against England. Next, the third type is delayed identification lead. As the name suggests, delayed identification. Try to understand it in a very simple manner. The who is not identified right away in this lead because it isn't deemed as an important element. For example, a member on the school board punched the president. Again, a member on the school board punched the president. Now, let us focus. Delayed identification. Identification definitely will lead to who or what, but in this case we are taking it as who, and delayed in the sense what? We are going to tell you who it is, but not in the lead. The name of the person isn't as important as the position. A member on the school board punched the president. This is a very simple example to understand. We could have told the name of the member. For example, whoever, Ajay punched the president. That wouldn't make much of a difference. But a member on the school board punched the president. It can make a difference to even people who are not part of the school. They can also understand that someone from the school board has punched an important person within the board. For them, Ajay will be just another student. They will not know what the significance of Ajay is. So in that case, the delayed identification lead will work very well because it will immediately hook you onto, oh, this post has done this. That is most important. Instead, a descriptive pronoun is used to describe the person and his title, and specific name is revealed in a later paragraph. See, as I said, the title is most important in a delayed identification lead. You can just keep this as a very good example. The member of the school board punched the president. So this is a very good example of the delayed identification lead, and it is used very, very intelligently in certain cases especially. Next is the creative lead. As the name suggests, the purpose of the creative lead is to capture the interest of the readers where a summary lead might not. A summary lead, as we have said, is to just throw information at the reader about 5 Ws and 1 H. Whereas a creative lead's focus is completely different. The keyword is the focus. The focus of a creative lead is, of course, to inform about the most important things, but also to make it very interesting, to put it in a very interesting manner. For example, look at this. First, what will have happened? A place will have had heavy snowfall. So in that case, you can just say so and so place received so and so for inches of rainfall and snowfall, etc., etc., and it can become a straightforward summary lead. But instead, in terms of the snowfall, what we can put? 1/5 of an inch. Now suddenly some people will just say 1/5 of an inch. What is this? What are they talking about? 1/5 of an inch. Next sentence will tell you what it is. That's all the snow it took to trigger more than 30 accidents on local roads yesterday. So this definitely becomes a much more interesting way of putting a particular news report than just saying that 30 accidents occurred yesterday due to heavy snowfall. When you talk about how much snowfall happened, 1/5 of an inch, that's all it was required. So in hindsight, it becomes very creative. And of course, when you're looking at the newspaper itself, you will be thinking, what is this 1/5 of an inch? That is what will draw you into the news article. So this is a very intelligent way, a creative way of writing a lead. Next one, short sentence lead. As the name suggests, a short sentence lead uses one word or a short phrase as a teaser, with the rest of the lead appearing later. This is often considered gimmicky, so only use it now and then. The example for this is the previous example as well. This one. It is just a phrase. 1/5 of an inch is just a phrase. And also this second sentence is again part of the lead also as well. So later on in the lead, we are getting to know what the actual gist is. But the starting of it is very crisp, very short. It's just a phrase. So that is how a short sentence lead works. I hope you have understood. It makes rest of the important information appear later and just draws you in a little more. Again, it is based on how creatively you use it, but at all times you need to remember the fact that we are writing journalistically. So this gimmicky writing can only be approved a few times, only in certain situations. Next, we come to the analogy lead. What this means is that this lead makes a comparison between an issue or event you are writing about and something more familiar to the average reader. Something more, it's basically about a comparison. A comparison, even when talking regularly, in our daily lives, we say that, hey, I ran like the wind, he ran like a cheetah, etc., etc. We talk like that. We are generally comparing, and that is how we get to know the impact or the effect of a certain thing rather than just saying it plainly. This approach can work well when you have a complex or foreign matter you want to explain in layman's terms, because we generally tend to understand things a lot in comparison. I know we are dealing a lot with psychology at this moment of how we are understanding things, but it's very important for a journalist to know how the mind works, especially as a reader. So in layman's terms, it becomes very easy to understand something when you compare a very complex issue to a very simplistic and very a very close issue that is to you. For example, the Netherlands is considering anti-terrorism laws that make the United States Patriotic Act look like a civil libertarian's dream come true. So this is a small comparison that has happened here. They have compared it to a civil libertarian's dream come true. This act changing whole scenario has been compared to this. So in that terms, it becomes little easier for the readers to understand what is meant by an analogy lead. Next, the anecdotal lead. Sometimes beginning a story with a quick anecdote can draw in readers. The anecdote must be interesting and must closely illustrate the article's broader point. What do you mean by an anecdote? An anecdote is a particular situation that has happened and we are just taking reference to that situation to tell our story a bit better. It is somewhat like analogy, but exactly not an analogy lead. If you use this approach, the broader significance of the anecdote should be explained within the first few sentences following the lead. Of course, if you are taking reference from a particular story that has happened, etc., etc., people will not read if you keep on putting a huge statement of only the story. They will only continue reading if you make sense. If you, within the first couple, 2-3 sentences, if you make sense of why you are putting this as the lead, then it may again make it into a interesting lead for the readers to follow on through the article. So again, you as the journalist must and should get to know how much I can give myself a leash in that matter. Of course, writing very creative leads is very much encouraged across the entire world, but it is your duty to maintain that you are responsible to give the audience right information and the information that they need at the time that they need it. So you have to always focus on just giving yourself the leash of couple sentences, so maximum 2-3 sentences, not more than that. Next, the 8th one, amazing fact lead. This may seem a little comic, but to be honest, this works miracles when writing a lead. Open with an amazing fact that arouses readers' interest, such as 60% of Americans oppose the US war in Iraq, the highest number since polling on the subject began. So in this case, this is a shocking statement / fact. When you open with this, automatically the reader is intrigued. Oh my God, this has happened. Oh, how can this happen? Let us just get to know more about this. So this is the thought process behind what they will go through when reading. So it becomes very important in an amazing fact lead to have a strong fact that starts up your entire news report. Only and only if you have such an important statistic with you, only then you can take the liberty of starting the news article with this. Else, I would strongly suggest against it, because that is the whole crux of your issue. If you are not strong enough in that, and if you yourself don't have confidence in that particular lead, then you can rather switch to another type of lead, to a more simplistic type of lead. So I hope all this has been cleared, the types of leads that we have studied today. This is definitely a fact that there are many more types of leads that you will find online, but it is purely based on how people approach lead writing. These which I have told you today are the most generic kind of leads that exist in our journalistic world today. Anywhere you go, these are the kind of leads that will come into play, especially when you are writing your leads. So hope this has been a very informative session for you. If you have any doubts, please feel free to clear your queries. We are always here with you. So have a great day, take care, and see you until the next session.